Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee and take thy head from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the hosts of the Philistines this day to the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all this assembly may know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give it into your hands. In my mind's eye, I can see David as he begins to head toward Goliath. First, his steps are measured, but then his strides begin to grow, until ultimately David is racing toward him at full strength. The scripture tells us he takes one of those smooth stones and puts it in that sling, and as he begins to make ready to fire his shot, I suppose at a sudden stop, David took the momentum he had built up. It began at the sole of his feet and traveled through his body until ultimately the shot was fired. And the Bible tells us that it found its mark in Goliath's forehead and pointedly says it sunk in. And Goliath fell before him dead. There was no sword in David's hand. And so David ran to him. The scripture tells us that he took Goliath's sword and he cut Goliath's head off. And in my wild imagination, I can only imagine what it must have been like when David reached down and grabbed those nappy, oily curls of that Philistine and hoisted his head before the Israelites, and they began to understand, our God saveth not with sword and spear. The Bible tells us the Philistines were put to flight.